Yo, what is up, guys? Oscar here with the new video, and this is going to be discussing the continuation of Real Madrid, who stays, who needs to prove something, and who's just outright out in favor of getting sold. So this is going to be discussing the midfielders. So let's go ahead and deep dive. So here are the list of midfielders for Real Madrid. I'm going to do midfielders and forwards today, because because the preseason's kicking off on Sunday, and of course you know that I also do Washington football team content. I got to work on that with training camp also coming up. So I'm gonna break down midfielders and forwards. They're gonna be two separate videos, but they will be dropping today. So let's go ahead and discuss the midfield. So here are the list of midfielders that Real Madrid have active on the roster. Just remember that I will not be going over any youth team system players like Marvin, Antonio Blanco, so on and so forth, because either those guys are getting loaned out or will continue to be a part of the B squad for their development purposes. So we have the list of midfielders for Real Madrid. If I miss anyone, let me know in the comments down below. So, because here's the list that I have. I have Dani Ceballos, Takefusa Kubo, Martin Odegaard, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, Fede Valverde, Isco, and that's pretty much it. So first and foremost, first player I'm going to be discussing, Dani Ceballos. Here's the tough thing about him. Unfortunately, he went down with an injury. So here's the thing with that. Because he's out injured, he has a left ankle injury. It's something to do with his ligament. I was looking up some information so that way I could report that. So, unfortunately, I don't see him playing this game coming up against the Rangers, but I do maybe see him playing the friendly competition against, I think it was AC Milan who they play. I have to double. It's one of the Milan teams. I want to say AC Milan. So, maybe he'll be ready to go then. But he has actually played well for Arsenal. But here at Madrid, right now, the reason why he is staying is because Ancelotti has given him the full confidence of staying, promising him, game time or playing time or what have you. So we'll have to wait and see. He has something to prove. I don't think that he is, it's a lost cause for him to, play. Or, lost cause to stay. He does need to prove himself, though. I'm not saying he's a lock for going. I don't think he's a lock for staying. He needs to prove himself. So next up, Takefusa Kubo. He is going out on loan. Real Madrid is just looking for a suitable partner for transfer. So he is actually going out on loan. Enough said there. He does need development. In my opinion, I think he should develop with the B squad because he's actually pretty good. I just don't know why Real Madrid doesn't even bother, sending him to the B squad instead of, they send him out on loan to other teams, and then he plays really well with the other team, and when Real Madrid faces that other team that he's on, he's a big difference. So I don't know why they keep on sending him on loan when they could just send him to the B squad. But he's, the Real Madrid is looking for the perfect transfer, or not transfer, but team to, loan him out to. Real Sociedad is the rumored team, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, Martin Odegaard, another player who needs to prove something because he lost his spot last year to Fede Valverde. He was given, he was out on loan. Then Zinedine Zidane called him back. He got the, buyback clause, or whatever you like to call it, from the loan, because it was a 2-year loan spell. He comes back. He played decently, decent enough, and he played actually good enough to, continue. But then injuries and COVID derailed that. and he never saw the field again after he lost his spot to Luka Modric and to Fede Valverde. So he is another player that needs to, he went out on loan. He went to Arsenal in January, and he's coming back. So he's another player that needs to prove his stripes, because if not, like Florentino Perez and Ancelotti are going to be forced to sell him if he doesn't prove his worth. Next up is Toni Kroos. He stays. One of your main guys at Real Madrid for nearly 8 years now. He's looking. He retired from the Germany international team, and he's saying that once he is done with Real Madrid, he's actually going to retire. So it's looking like he's going to retire at Madrid. I need to look at his contract, because I think he is done in 2022 or 23, but he's staying unless Real Madrid is in dire need of cash and money to make transfers. Then obviously he's going, but he's staying unless otherwise. He's one of the Real Madrid's best midfielders in a long time. Next up, Luka Modric, another guy who's staying. My opinion, he is staying. He signed a 1-year extension, so he's 35 years old. Here's the thing where I would say keep Martin Odegaard and keep Dani Ceballos, and Fede Valverde, of course, because you need to look for that Luka Modric replacement. Luka Modric, I think after this year, Real Madrid is not even going to bother with renewing his contract. I think he should retire after this year. He's played very well for a guy who's 35, 36 years old, but I think, with Ancelotti here, with him, getting up there in age, I think he's done with Real Madrid. So I think this is his final year playing at Real Madrid. He stays, but this is his final year, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, I will gladly correct myself. But, mark my words, I think Luka Modric, he is done with Real Madrid after this season. So next up, Casemiro. I think he stays. He stays. So he is a defensive midfielder, something that Real Madrid doesn't. They called up Antonio Blanco, who's slipped up in that role. He stays, and I think he's gonna stay for another 2. I think his contract runs out until 2024 or something like that. I have to double check. I look at these contracts and sometimes I forget to write them down, but I have to double check contracts and all that stuff. But he stays. He has played solid for Real Madrid since coming to Madrid. Unless he stinks it up, and Antonio Blanco, who is the youngest option, but Casemiro is not too old either. He's 28 years old this year, so he stays. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fede Valverde. So if it was earlier because Fede Valverde was another guy who at the beginning of the season played outstanding, but then COVID and injuries got in the way. He lost his spot, but then when Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, went down with injuries, they had no other choice but to play Fede Valverde, and he regained and he fought his way back into the squad, back into the starting lineup. If he can continue that momentum, he played great at the beginning of last season. So if he can do that again and play very well, then obviously he still has a future here at Real Madrid. And then finally, Isco. This guy is a tough guy to call because he is an Ancelotti guy. He played very well under Carlos Ancelotti, but has struggled under Zinedine Zidane and the other managers that came after Zinedine Zidane walked away the first time. He has not regained his form, but we'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell. Ancelotti has told him he is staying, but I think he has something to prove. If he can stay in shape and go back to the Isco of old, back in the 2014-2015 season, then obviously he stays. If not, he's Florentino Perez again is gonna have to tell Ancelotti, look, I know that you like him, but he is, we need to make profit out of him to make money. So Isco has something to prove, and that is the last guy of the midfielders that need to prove, that here. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think that, have the right to stay, leave, or need to prove something? Let me know in the comments down below. It is your turn to let me know. Until then, guys, keep it real. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thank you for supporting Real Talk with Oscar host William Montiel. For more European soccer content or American football content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss any more of my videos.